In a previous lecture, we had discussing about the structure of the DNA and particularly the structure of the double helix model of the DNA. So today we are going to start the DNA replication and the genetic code. So the replication, one feature for the genetic material is to replicate. So the DNA is the hegetic material or the genetic material that has ability to replicate. So today the topic is about the DNA replication, about the process of DNA replication. In DNA replication, each strand of the DNA is oriented such that the 3' carbons of the deoxyribose in one strand are oriented in opposite directions from the 3' carbons in the other strand. So both strands are in opposite direction. One is from 3' to 5'. So both are in opposite directions. So that's why such strands are also DNA strands are known as anti-parallel strands. The strands terminal phosphates are therefore at opposite ends. So that's why they are known as anti-parallel. DNA is as an anti-parallel molecule. The entire molecule is twisted into a right-handed helix, as we have discussed in the previous lecture, with one complete spiral every 10 base pairs.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम मैम।
वालेकुम सलाम।
मैम आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही आपकी।
Okay. DNA replication in eukaryotes. Our today's topic is about the DNA replication in eukaryotes. So now, can you hear my voice clearly?
No, ma'am.
Each DNA strand is template for a new strand. So the process of DNA replication, so parental strands initiate the replication or the synthesis of a new strand. So the parental strand is known as the template for the synthesis of new strand. The pairing between the nucleotides, as the requirement of pairing between the purine and the pyrimidine bases dictates the positioning of nucleotides in the new strands. So each new DNA molecule contains one strand from the older DNA molecule or from the parental DNA molecule, and the one strand is newly synthesized. So in every DNA molecule, the one strand is from the parental DNA molecule and one strand is newly synthesized. So because half of the old molecules is conserved in the new molecules, so the DNA replication, the model, the most acceptable model about the synthesis of the DNA replication or about the DNA replication is known as the semi-conservative model for DNA synthesis or the semi-conservative model for DNA replication. As it shows from the name, the semi-conservative means the half of the partial conservation of the parental DNA molecule, in which half of the DNA molecule is conserved from the parental DNA molecule and the half or the one strand of the DNA is newly synthesized. So the most acceptable model or the model for the DNA replication and synthesis is known as semi-conservative model for the DNA replication. So today we are going to discuss the semi-conservative model. So as I have discussed that today we are discussing about the eukaryotic DNA replication. So the eukaryotic genetic material or the eukaryotic genomes are complex in nature. So DNA replication is also complicated process. So this process involves various enzymes and different kind of proteins. And the process of replication in eukaryotes occurs in three major steps or three major stages. So one is known as the initiation, the second one is known as elongation, and the third one is known as termination. So process of replication in eukaryotes accomplished in three stages: the initiation stage, and the elongation, and the next last one is the termination. So what happened in the first stage, which is known as the initiation stage? As you know that the eukaryotic DNA, when it is present in the form of chromosomes, so the eukaryotic DNA is bound to particular kind of proteins which are known as histone proteins. So by the assemblage of the DNA and the histone proteins, DNA is assembled into a particular kind of structure, and this structure is named as nucleosome. So nucleosome is actually formed by the bonding of DNA and histone proteins. So by the assemblage of the DNA and histone proteins in a particular manner, a structure is formed which is known as nucleosomes. So what happened during initiation? During initiation, the DNA is made accessible to the proteins and enzymes which are involved in the process of replication. So for this purpose, specific chromosomal locations are present in the structure of the DNA or in the structure of the nucleosomes, and such locations are known as the origins of replications, are the special sites from where the process of replication initiates, or the special site from where the replication begins. And such sites are known as origin sites, or the origins of replication. So the site from where the DNA replication begins or the DNA replication initiates is known as the origin sites, or the origins of replication. In eukaryotic DNA, more than one origin sites are present. Certain proteins reach particular sites of origin, and then allow the other necessary proteins, other particular proteins, those are necessary for DNA replication, to bind that the same or the specific region. So to initiate the process of replication, DNA must have the special sites, those are known as and special kind of the proteins, those are involved for the recognition of the is there any issue?
मैम आपकी आवाज क्लियर नहीं आ रही है.
Okay. So the certain proteins are involved in the recognition and the binding at the at particular site. Those are responsible for the DNA replication. So certain proteins recognize and bind to the origin of replication or at the replication sites, and then these proteins allow the and then these proteins allow other proteins, those are necessary for DNA replication, to bind at the specific sites which are known as replication sites. So क्या होता है कि DNA replication को initiate करने के लिए DNA के पास special sites होती हैं जिनको हम origin sites का नाम देते हैं, and जो origin sites हैं यहाँ पे particular kind की proteins जो हैं वो recognize करती हैं या जो स्पेसिफिक प्रोटीन्स हैं वो रिकॉग्नाइज करती हैं इन साइट्स को और इनके साथ बाइंड करती हैं, देन वो जो दूसरी प्रोटीन्स हैं उनको अलाउ करती हैं कि वो प्रोसेस ऑफ रेप्लिकेशन को इस पर्टिकुलर साइट से इनिशिएट करें. So at first, the two copies of an enzyme called the helicase are included among the proteins, those recruited to the origin. So at first, the proteins are the enzymes which are involved in the binding to the specific origin sites or the origin of replications. are known as helicases. So the two copies of the helicases recruited to the origin are associated to the origin, are attached to the origin. So the first enzyme, those are involved in the DNA replication, are known as helicases. So what is the function of the helicases? So each helicase unwinds and separates the DNA helix into single-stranded DNA. So the helicase causes the unwinding of the DNA molecule and then separates the DNA helix into single-stranded DNA. So as the DNA opens up, or after the unwinding of the DNA molecule, a Y-shaped structure is formed, and this Y-shaped structure is also known as replication bubble. Y-shaped structures called the replication forks are formed. Because the two helicases binds, so two replication forks are formed at the origin of the replication. So these extended in both directions as replication proceeds, creating a replication bubble. So in result of unwinding, a replication bubble is formed, and in each replication bubble, two replication forks are formed, and so there are multiple origins of replication on eukaryotic chromosomes, which allow replication to occur simultaneously in hundreds to thousands of locations along each chromosome. So the eukaryotic chromosomes have multiple origin sites. So the process of replication occurs simultaneously in hundreds to thousands of locations along each chromosome. So as you can see in the figure, after unwinding of the DNA double helical structure, a replication bubble is formed. So two helicase enzymes are involved to initiate the process of DNA replication. So two replication forks are formed in a in Y-shaped structure, which is known as a replication fork. So two replication forks are formed in one replication bubble in result of unwinding, which is caused by the helicases, pair of helicases. So next to the initiation is DNA elongation. So as I have discussed earlier about the initiation involves the recognition of the origin sites, and then unwinding of the double helical structure of the DNA, and then the formation of the replication forks and the formation of the replication bubble. And next to the elongation, next to the initiation is the stage which is known as elongation. So during elongation, an enzyme which is known as the DNA polymerase plays important role in this process of elongation. So the function of the DNA polymerase to add the DNA nucleotides to the 3' end of the newly synthesized polynucleotide chain. So the DNA, so during the elongation, the DNA polymerase adds the nucleotides to the 3' end, and so the template chain specifies which of the 4 DNA nucleotides included the adenosine nucleotide, or the thymidine nucleotide, or the cytidine nucleotide, or the guanosine nucleotide. So from these 4 nucleotides, the template chain specifies which of the 4 DNA nucleotides, and they are added at the position along the new chains. Only the nucleotide complementary to the template nucleotides at the position is added to the new strand. So just the complementary nucleotide जो है वो new strand के साथ आके parental template strand के साथ आके attach होता है, ठीक है? So as we have discussed in the previous topic that the one pyrimidine base or the one pyrimidine is attached to the one pyrimidine base, or the one pyrimidine base is attached to the one purine base. So as the adenine pair with the thymine and guanine pair with the cytosine. So during elongation, then the DNA polymerases actually cause the addition of nucleotide to the along the already existing polynucleotide strand. DNA polymerase contains a groove that allows a groove-like structure. So this groove allows it to bind a single-stranded template DNA, and so the structure of DNA actually containing a groove-like structure. So this groove actually allows the DNA polymerase to bind to a single-stranded template DNA and travel one nucleotide at a time. So as for example, when the polymerase meets an adenosine nucleotides or binds an adenosine nucleotide on the template strain, so it only adds thymidine to the 3' end of the nucleotides of the newly synthesized strain, and then moves to the next nucleotide on the template strain. So this process will continue until the DNA polymerase reaches the end of the template strain. So DNA polymerase bind to the single-stranded template DNA, and during its journey, it's add only one nucleotide at a time. As the polymerase meets the adenosine nucleotide on the template strand, it adds a thymidine to the 3' end of the synthesized strand. So elongation is actually marked by the addition of nucleotide, and addition of nucleotide is associated by the role of the enzyme which is known as DNA polymerase. So here are some a very important property or the feature of the DNA polymerase, that the DNA polymerase cannot initiate the new strand synthesis. So that is actually new nucleotides to the already existing nucleotide strand. DNA polymerase always add the nucleotides to the existing strand at the 3' end of an existing strand. So there is a property of the DNA polymerase that the DNA polymerase cannot initiate new strand synthesis. It only adds the new nucleotides at the 3' end of an existing strand. All newly synthesized polynucleotide strains must be initiated by the specialized RNA polymerase called primase. So for this purpose, during the DNA replication, an enzyme which is known as the primase is responsible for the synthesis or for the formation of a short polynucleotide structure which is known as a primer. So a primer is synthesized and the synthesis of primer is done by an enzyme which is known as primase. So primase initiates the polynucleotide synthesis and by creating a short polynucleotide strand, and this strand is complementary to the template DNA strand. And this short stretch or this short polynucleotide chain is known as primer. So as the DNA polymerase cannot initiate new strand synthesis, so it always requires an existing strand, and this existing strand is known as primer. And this short chain of nucleotide is synthesized by or is formed by an enzyme which is known as primase. So once the RNA primer has been synthesized at the template DNA, so the primase exits and the DNA polymerase now extends the new strands with the nucleotide complementary to the template DNA. So after the formation of the synthesis of the primer, then the primase enzyme exits, and then the DNA polymerase starts the elongation or the addition of the nucleotide to this already existing polynucleotide chain, and after that this such RNA nucleotides, so the primer is actually the short sequence of RNA nucleotides. So primase synthesize a short sequence of polynucleotide chain, and this polynucleotide chain is consists of RNA nucleotides, not DNA nucleotides. Such RNA nucleotides in the primer are removed later on during the process of replication, and then replaced with DNA nucleotides. So once the DNA replication is finished, the daughter molecules are made entirely of the continuous DNA nucleotides. So once DNA replication is completed, or once DNA replication is finished, so the daughter molecules are exclusively or mainly entirely composed of the continuous DNA molecules with no RNA portion, with the no RNA primer content. So the primer is just to proceed the process of elongation during replication. So when the DNA replication is completed, so at the end of the DNA replication, there is no RNA content or the RNA primer in a mature DNA molecule, or in a complete DNA molecule. So as I have discussed earlier, that the DNA polymerase can only synthesize the new strands in the 5' to 3' direction. So there is another feature of the DNA polymerase, that the DNA polymerase only can only synthesize new strands in 5' to 3' direction. So therefore the two newly synthesized strands always grow in opposite direction. So the template strands at each application forks are, so that's why the template strand at each replication forks are anti-parallel. So as you can see in the previous slide, in the figure, the synthesis of the DNA is the new strand which is synthesized. So from 5' to 3' is the direction of the newly synthesized DNA strand, and at the other side again the second strand is always synthesized from 5' to 3' direction. So both strands are newly synthesized DNA strands are always in opposite direction, are always from 5' to 3' in direction. So the newly synthesized strands are named as the leading strand and the lagging strand. So as the enzyme polymerase, the DNA polymerase, can only add nucleotide to the free 3' end of the DNA strand, so it can never add it to the 5' end. So जो DNA synthesis है वो हमेशा थर्ड एंड के ऊपर न्यूक्लियोटाइड, थर्ड प्राइम एंड ऑफ द डीएनए पे न्यूक्लियोटाइड ऐड करता है, ठीक है, और ना कि ये जो एडिशन ऑफ न्यूक्लियोटाइड है उसको 5' एंड से स्टार्ट कर सकता है. So that is an which is actually a property of, or the feature of a DNA polymerase, that is always cause that actually the addition of the new nucleotides at the free 3 end of the DNA strand. So it can never add it to the 5' end. So first strand, which is known as the leading strand, which is also known as the continuous strand, because the leading strand is synthesized continuously towards the replication fork. So leading strand is known as continuous strand, and its direction of synthesis is towards the replication fork. As helicase unwinds the template double-stranded DNA. So the leading strand is a continuous strand, and its direction of the synthesis is towards the replication fork. The second one, which is known as the lagging strand, the lagging strand is also known as the discontinuous strand, and the discontinuous strands, the synthesis of this DNA strand is away from the replication fork and also away from the DNA helicase unwinds. So as the leading strand is known as continuous strands because this strand is synthesized continuously. So once a single primer is synthesized or forms, then the DNA polymerase continuously adds new nucleotides to already existing primer in case of the leading strand. So in case of the leading strand, single primer is involved, and after the formation of the single primer or a short RNA polynucleotide chain, then DNA polymerase adds the new nucleotides to this existing RNA or the primer short polynucleotide chain. But in case of the lagging strand, the lagging strand is synthesized in pieces. So the synthesis or the formation is not continuous like the leading strand, because the DNA polymerase can only synthesize in 5' to 3', and so it constantly encounters the previously synthesized new strand. So such synthesis in the form of fragments is known as Okazaki fragments. So the synthesis of the DNA in fragments is known as Okazaki fragment, and each fragment begins with its own RNA primer. So for the synthesis of each primer, there is a requirement of a new primer or a new short RNA polynucleotide chain. And such Okazaki fragments are first time discovered by a Japanese scientist, which is named as Okazaki. So at the name of the scientists, they are named as Okazaki fragments. And these fragments are about 100 to 200 nucleotides long in eukaryotes. So the length of such Okazaki fragments in case of the lagging strand, so one Okazaki fragment is about consists of about 100 to 200 nucleotides. And the length of the RNA primer is about the 10 nucleotides long in case of the eukaryotes. So what happened in elongation phase? For the elongation phase, the DNA polymerase is responsible for the elongation of the DNA chain or the synthesis of the new DNA strand. So the function of the DNA polymerase is the addition of the new nucleotides to the already existing the template strand, and the feature of the DNA polymerase is the DNA polymerase always adds nucleotide to an already existing polynucleotide chain, and this polynucleotide chain is formed by an enzyme which is known as primase, and primase form a short polynucleotide chain which is known as primer. And in case of the eukaryotes, this primer consists of about 10 nucleotides, and then two strains are formed. One is known as the leading strain, another is known as the lagging strain. So as you can see in the figure, so here is a lagging strand, okay, and as you can see the new strand, synthesis of new strand is from 5' to 3'. So if the new strand is synthesized from 5' to 3' direction, so it means the DNA polymerase adds nucleotide to the already existing chains which is from 3' to 5' in direction. So DNA polymerase starts the addition of the new nucleotides at the 3' end of the template. So the complementary strand is from the new strand is from 5 prime to 3 prime. So here is the leading strand. This shows the leading strand. So in leading strand, a single primer is formed, as you can see the single primer, which is green in color, and then after the synthesis of this single primer, then the DNA polymerase adds continuously the new nucleotides, and the synthesis of the leading strand is continuous, as you can see in the figure that the synthesis of the new strand is continuous in case of the leading strand, and only single primer is involved in the formation of leading strand, and direction of the leading strand is towards the fork. This is the fork, which is a Y-shaped structure. So the synthesis of the new DNA strand is towards the fork. And as in case of the lagging strand, as you can see here in the lagging strand, so as you can see that the direction is away from the, here is the direction is towards the replication fork, and here is the, in case of the lagging strand, the direction of the new DNA strand is, in case of the lagging strand, is away from the replication fork. And then in the lagging strand, the synthesis is not continuous, and the discontinuous synthesis is accompanied by the more than one prime. So in this case, the more than one primers are involved for each short fragment or the Okazaki fragment. A new primer is required, as you can see in the fragment. You can see in the figure. Here is a short primer, fragment, which is known as an Okazaki fragment, and along with each Okazaki fragment, a short polynucleotide chain, which is known as the RNA primer, is associated or attached to each Okazaki fragment. So the lagging strand is a discontinuous strand, and it synthesized in the form of fragments, and the fragments are known as Okazaki fragments, and also its direction is away from the replication fork. And not the single primer is involved in the formation of the lagging strand, but for each fragment, a new primer is required to initiate the synthesis of a new piece of the DNA at Okazaki fragment. Hope you got some idea about the elongation and the initiation of the DNA replication. So the last stage is the DNA is known as termination. So during the termination, the DNA polymerase halts when it reaches a section or a segment of a DNA template that has already been replicated. So the termination occurs when the polymerase reaches at a section of the DNA template which has already been replicated. So once all the template nucleotides have been replicated, then the replication process is still not is not yet over. So at the end, the RNA primers need to be replaced with the DNA. So as I have discussed earlier, at the completion of the DNA replication, that a complete DNA molecule entirely consists of the DNA portion, and it doesn't contain any RNA content or a primer. So the RNA primers at the end of at the termination phase, the RNA primers need to be replaced with the DNA, and mix in the sugar phosphate backbone need to be connected. So at the end, when the RNA primers are replaced, then the gaps are formed between the DNA molecule. And such are known as nicks. So nicks in the sugar phosphate backbones are then again need to be connected. So the enzymes those are involved in the removal of the RNA segment or the RNA primers, or the known as the flap endonuclease 1, or the enzymes those are involved in the removal of the RNA primers or the RNA segment from the DNA molecule, and RNase. So the RNase and the endonucleases are the enzymes. Those are involved for the removal of the RNA primers from the DNA molecule during the termination phase. These enzymes remove the RNA primer at the start of the each leading strand and also at the start of the each Okazaki fragments. So the primers are removed by endonucleases and RNAs. So in the final stage of the DNA replication, the enzyme ligase, so after the removal of the RNA segment, the RNA primers, the nicks are the gaps are formed in between of the DNA molecules. So the enzymes which are known as ligase joins the such gaps or nicks in the sugar phosphate backbones at each nick site or at each gap site. So जहाँ से ये RNA primers remove होते हैं तो वहाँ पे gap form हो जाते हैं या वहाँ पे nicks form हो जाती हैं. So such nicks or gaps are joined by the enzyme which is known as ligase enzyme. So after the ligase has connected all the gaps or the nicks, the new strand is the one or the continuous DNA strand, and the daughter strand molecule is completed now. So once again, you can see in the figure shows a replication bubble and also the two replication forks. So during the DNA replication, so here is an overview of the process of the DNA replication. So the DNA replication begins at the initiation sites or the origin sites along the length of the chromosome. So the synthesis of the strand A or the B is continuous from the initiation site, and that the synthesis of the strand, as you can see in the figure, the synthesis of A and B is continuous, and the synthesis of contents C and D is discontinuous. So the discontinuous strands are synthesized in fragments, and they are known as Okazaki fragments, and the strand is known as the lagging strand. So an overview of the enzymes those are involved in the process of the replication are: the first one are the helicase enzyme. Those are involved in the unwinding of the DNA molecules, and then the enzyme which are known as DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase is responsible for the elongation of the DNA strand or for the replication of the DNA, addition of the nucleotide to the already existing polynucleotide chain, or the addition of the complementary nucleotide to the already existing polynucleotide chain. And then the primase, which involved in the synthesis of primer, which is actually a short nucleotide sequence, and then the ligase, which is responsible to join the nicks or gap between the DNA molecules, and then another one enzyme which are known as the endonucleases or the RNase. Those are involved in the removal of the RNA segment or the RNA primer from the DNA molecule, and also another kind of the protein which are known as single strand binding protein. A single strand binding protein attached to the separate strands of the DNA and does not allow them to recoil. So at the end of the DNA replication, the proofreading, the process of the proofreading, so the errors in completed DNA molecules are only 1 in 1 billion nucleotides. So these errors must be corrected. And some enzymes remove these errors, and these enzymes are again endonucleases or then RNAs. So that's all for today. Thank you so much.